just from a business perspective, and this has always been a curiosity for me, having no creativity whatsoever. So from how do you balance being in business and driving those business outcomes? Because at the end of the day, it's about income and the rest of it. How do you balance that versus your creativity? I mean, this is obviously your passion. How do you balance those, not let them get out of kilter? And yeah, that's just curiosity more than anything.
How do you balance it? It's a question. It's a good question. I think, so basically doing what I do, choosing to do photography, I went to art school. I found that I was best able to show my creativity by picking up that tool, the camera. And so you get out of art school, art doesn't pay the bills, tried it for a while, and it's just like, okay, what can I do with my craft that I love? So I think finding that people on certain avenues would pay you for, to come take pictures, that was the job part of it. But to keep it from becoming so inundated and like hating it, losing my soul, when it becomes work, that's when you lose your passion for it. So I think for me, I find a balance by still going back to my artistic background, my creativity, doing my fine art practice, where it still makes me want to pick up my camera. Like I said in the past, I got so busy shooting, photographing, getting paid for it. It was my job that I then no longer, I'd go home, I'd have a day off, whatever. I never wanted to pick up my camera like I used to do anything. So I found that when I would make myself a creative project that was for nobody else but me, that's when it drew my passion back into it. So I wasn't losing it on the drive of like always doing weddings. And so yeah, I think it's about finding that balance. It's about, as they say, don't bring the work home with you, which is hard because that's like when you go to your office to edit photos, it's always with you. But I think there's finding that balance of knowing when to shut that part off and just keep it for like, you can't over inundate and overwork. You have to then go do something that you love. So I think it's finding a balance by still having, doing something that's just for you. I think that's what it's about, is doing something that's just for you and not for a client.
Yeah. And so and I guess I'll show you exactly how uncreative I am. So from a business perspective, if you were to look at, because you've got your average sort of administration and all that sort of rubbish that consumes time, obviously you want to keep that to an absolute minimum, because that any time spent doing that sort of garbage is not actually helping you to go out there and do the stuff you enjoy and the whole reason you did it in the first place. How do you manage to keep your admin to an absolute minimum? Like, can you in your sort of business? Because
when you're working for yourself or you're entrepreneur doing things, I think that is the hard fine line. It's because it's always like, even for me, it's not like I'm just a photographer and the jobs come to me. I have to then go play, my campaign manager. I have to go then find those jobs. So it's, and then you're doing, like you said, the office work and, it's the advertising. So I think to keep the balance there is if you can like maybe pick certain days you do it, mm-hmm. and really try to stay hardcore to that. Like, I'm very whimsical and not that organized, in the sense of like, when I feel it, I do it. But there's sometimes I think to find that balance is if you can say, okay, on Mondays from this time to this time, I'm going to sit down and do all my billing or do this. So I think if you can find some organization within it, and it doesn't have to be the whole business. It doesn't have to be that you're editing photos and all this stuff like that organized. Because for me, sometimes it has to be to go through photos and edit. I have to be in a mindset and a mood to do it. The business aspect of things, not the creative part. I think if you can organize your schedule, and I think not to over inundate yourself, don't make it a 12-hour day of sitting there doing stuff in front of the computer. I think for me, I function well by doing small pockets. Like, I'm going to spend 3 hours here and then 4 hours that day. That's how I kind of find a balance business-wise. And I don't think I'm the best business person. I think that's what's so hard, is that being a creator and creative, that's what I want to spend my time on. I don't want to spend my time on the organizing and all the business stuff. It's I don't know if that helps at all.
No. That's very honest and very straight down the line. And look, I think the other thing is like in any sort of business, and whether you're sort of in the creative space or the sales or whatever it is, you got to do your absolute level best to try and find those things that consume your time that add no value to either getting your administration done you got to do, or creating imagery. It's finding all those annoying bits and pieces and trying to get them to an absolute minimum. So I think that's a real applies to business, period. So.